Tasha slid the folder across the counter like she was handing me a check for groceries. Her nails were glossy nude, long enough to claw someone's eyes out. She didn't smile, just smirked like she was doing me a favor. "There's your exit packet," she said, like we were wrapping up brunch, not ending 18 years of my life. I stared at the folder. My hands were still damp from rinsing color bowls in the back. 10 minutes earlier, I had been standing in front of the whole team, walking them through a new product line I helped launch that tripled our quarterly sales. Clients were finally posting us on socials again. We were booked 6 weeks out. Ray stood next to her, arms crossed, mouth shut. No eye contact. Not one damn word from the man I gave almost 2 decades to. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. "You're kidding," I said, but my voice cracked. I hated that it cracked. Tasha cocked her head. "We're going in a different direction. A fresher face for the brand." Her wedding ring caught the fluorescent light like it was mocking me. Big stone, perfectly cut, set in some custom band that probably cost more than my last 2 tax returns combined. She tapped it against the counter, bored. "You're firing me?" I asked, louder now. I felt eyes from the shampoo stations shift toward us. "We're repositioning," she said, fake sweet. You've done a lot, but this place needs new energy." Ray agrees. Still nothing from him. I looked at him dead in the face. "Is this how it's gonna be?" He blinked, cleared his throat. "It's complicated." "Complicated?" I laughed, but it was sharp and dry. "I just made you 50 grand in reorders this month." "We appreciate your service," Tasha cut in, already pulling out a pen. "But sometimes legacy just weighs things down." She clicked the pen, signed off on my termination like she was confirming a dinner reservation. "Effective today," she added, sliding a keycard-sized envelope my way. "You'll get your final check in 72 hours. Don't worry, we'll take care of the clients." I didn't move, couldn't. Tasha smiled wider, her lip gloss gleaming. "Chin up. It's not personal." Except it was. She never worked a day in that salon. No license, no schooling, no sweat. Just heels and attitude. And now she was wiping me out like smudged eyeliner. Ray finally spoke again, quiet and useless. "Let's not make a scene." Too late. I grabbed the folder and turned without a word. My apron caught on the counter edge and snapped sideways as I walked out of the main floor. I left it there, dangling. The back room smelled like mildew and cheap hairspray. I sat on the busted vinyl chair near the storage shelf, holding the termination folder like it might start burning through my hands. The air was too quiet back there. Just the buzz of the old mini fridge and the faint thump of bass from whatever playlist they had blasting out front. Like the place wasn't falling apart. Like I hadn't just been thrown out by a woman who couldn't hold a blowdryer without snapping her wrist. My chest felt hollow, not sad, just scraped out, like something had been scooped out with a dull spoon. I flipped open the folder again. Final paycheck summary, benefit termination notice, some legal boilerplate full of words I couldn't focus on. I'd seen this room a million times. Coffee-stained counters, crooked whiteboard schedule, half-eaten bag of almonds someone taped shut last month. But now it looked unfamiliar. Like I didn't belong here anymore. Or maybe I never really did. 18 years. I started working here when my daughter was 3. I did the night shifts, the weekend shifts, the holidays. I gave up beach trips, birthdays, full nights of sleep. When I had the flu, I still came in. Mask on, hands shaking, slamming Dayquil just to keep the scissors straight. I missed her first dance recital because someone had triple booked me. I missed her high school graduation because I was backstage at that stupid fashion show doing some influencer's hair while she cried about lip liner. And for what? So I could get tossed like old mascara by a socialite with a designer bag and 0 qualifications? I rubbed my thumb over the corner of the envelope until the edge split. Tiny paper cut. Fitting. A door creaked open behind me. I didn't look up. "I thought you left already," a voice whispered. It was Dana, junior stylist, maybe 23, scared of her own shadow. I stayed quiet. She tiptoed in and shut the door. "Tasha's been auditioning new stylists. For weeks." That made me lift my head. "I didn't know what it meant," she said fast, but she had girls coming in for branding photos and style trials. Said it was for expansion. "She was replacing me," I said flat. Dana nodded. "She was nice to them, brought them coffee, let them use your station." "Of course she did." I was probably still folding towels in the back while she showed them around like she was queen of the damn place. She didn't even tell Ray half the time, Dana added, just said it was creative planning. I stared at her. And you didn't think to say anything? Dana's mouth opened, but nothing came out, just panic. Same look I saw last year when she spilled toner on a client's suede jacket and thought she'd get sued. I was scared, she finally said. I didn't want to get on her bad side. I almost laughed. You're already on her bad side. You work here. That's enough. She flinched like I'd slapped her, but I didn't care. I wasn't going to comfort her. I wasn't going to tell her it was okay. It wasn't. I'm sorry, she mumbled. I stood up. My knees cracked. That old fatigue hit me all over again, the kind that doesn't come from lack of sleep, but from being used up. You all watched it happen, I said, walking past her. Don't say sorry to me. Say it to yourself in 10 years when she does the same thing to you. Dana didn't follow me, just stood there, small and silent, hugging her elbows. I walked out of the back room and down the hallway. Didn't glance at the stations or the walls I helped paint during that one dumb renovation week years ago. Didn't look at Ray either. He was in his office with the door closed, probably still silent, always silent. I grabbed my purse from the hook by the break room fridge. My hands were shaking, but I zipped it slow, tight. Tasha thought she erased me, but I wasn't gone yet. I didn't even get a full day off before the email came through. Join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. for a send-off celebration in the main lounge. No subject line, no signature, just a calendar invite from the front desk account. Send off! That was rich. I showed up anyway. I wanted to see it. I needed to. The lounge had been rearranged, white chairs in a perfect little circle like we were at group therapy. A ring light was set up in the corner. Someone had laid out mini muffins and bottled water with gold paper straws. The kind of setup you'd see at a budget influencer pop-up. Tasha strutted in at exactly 10. Full glam, designer jumpsuit, gold heels, the whole look at me show. She held a printed packet with a gold ribbon tied around it and started passing them out like party favors. Good morning, beautiful people, she chirped, louder than necessary. Welcome to our Glow Up Vision workshop. I didn't sit. I stood near the wall, arms crossed. Tasha dropped a packet on the empty chair next to me and smirked. Oh, don't worry. This'll be fun. It's all about energy and reimagination. She clapped her hands once, like she was calling dogs. Now, first things first, she said, pacing the circle like some reality show host. We all know that salons have to evolve. It's 2025, people. The old ways, they're charming, sure, but charm doesn't scale. She paused, beaming. No one laughed. Ray sat off to the side by the mini fridge, legs crossed, hands in his lap, staring at the carpet. Classic. Tasha pulled up a mood board slide on the TV. Pastels, flat lays, some TikTok clips of girls flicking their hair in slow motion. Our new brand identity is built on modern femininity and aesthetic-forward service. Think, glow-up energy with every appointment. No more stagnation. She looked right at me when she said it. We've been held back by, how do I put this, legacy limitations. Her voice dropped to that fake, serious tone. Techniques that no longer reflect who we are now. I blinked slow. She was really doing it, rewriting history in real time, turning 18 years of sweat, hustle, and loyalty into a bad haircut we all regretted. She pulled up another slide labeled, Phase 1, Culture Detox. I've had to make some hard choices, she said. And yes, that includes letting go of people who, while foundational, no longer represent the future of this brand. She didn't even have the guts to say my name. I scanned the room. Stylists I trained were sitting frozen. Maya, who couldn't braid for crap until I drilled it into her. Trevor, who cried after his first client walked out, and I covered his shift so he wouldn't quit. Even Dana, eyes glued to her muffin like it might save her. No one looked at me, not one. Tasha kept going. From now on, we're focusing on dynamic energy, fresh faces, progressive styling. I need a team that reflects that. She pulled out a bottle of sparkling cider and started pouring it into clear plastic cups. To transformation, she cheered. No one raised theirs. I grabbed the packet from the chair next to me and flipped through it. Buzzwords, rebranding themes, influencer collab ideas, a page labeled Outdated Techniques to Retire. Half the list were things I'd created. I tossed it back on the chair. You really think this little PowerPoint wipes me out? Tasha's smile twitched. It's not personal. It's strategic. No, I said, walking to the middle of the circle. What it is cowardly. Ray looked up. That got his attention. He didn't say a word, but his mouth opened slightly like he wanted to, then didn't. You want a brand built on fake energy and filters? Be my guest, I said. Just don't pretend you're building something new while standing on someone else's back. I turned and walked out before she could speak again. Her little meeting kept going behind me, but it was quieter now. She could pour all the cider she wanted. She'd already poisoned the place. I left the glow-up meeting with my jaw clenched so tight it felt like my molars would crack. Didn't say a word to anyone. Didn't need to. Downstairs in the storage hall, I pulled a busted cardboard box from under the old laundry sink and dragged it to my station. No one offered to help. No one looked up. Maya was folding towels like her life depended on it. Trevor was suddenly busy restocking curl cream we hadn't reordered in weeks. Even Dana, who'd snuck into the back to warn me the day before, had disappeared. I started tossing stuff in. My shears, my heat brush. The neck strips I brought from home because they always ran out. Every drawer had something of mine in it. My entire career scattered in bits. Bobby pins, client notes, half-used pomades, empty coffee pods from all those late nights fixing Tasha's screw-ups. Overhead, the ceiling creaked. Laughter filtered down from the lounge upstairs. Population. That sound. Champagne. I froze mid-pack. Tasha's voice came through loud and smug. Finally cleaned up the place. No more dead weight. Then Ray's low mutter. Something about fresh start and next chapter. They were celebrating, toasting the erasure. I should have stormed up there, should have flipped the table, smashed every glass. But I didn't. I stayed in my lane and finished packing. Quiet, cold, controlled. That's when I saw it. My old black spiral notebook wedged behind the outlet strip under my mirror, covered in dust. I'd completely forgotten it existed. I pulled it out and flipped through the pages. Half were full of scribbled formulas, pricing breakdowns, supply schedules. Then I hit a section labeled Distributor Clauses, Backup Provisions. And there it was, circled in red ink like a warning sign. Echo Provision. I remembered now. I wrote it after Carlene got canned from her skincare lab and watched her boss steal her entire serum line. We'd been sitting in a diner when she told me, her voice shaking over a plate of cold fries. I went home that night and drafted the clause. If a lead developer is removed without the written signature of the business owner, all vendor shipments pause and contracts reverse to previous terms pending review. I blinked at the sentence. My heart kicked hard against my ribs. I'd made sure to bury it inside our distributor framework, deep in the product license agreements, just in case. Not to be petty, not to be spiteful, just to stop exactly this. One name triggered the reversal. Ray's. But Tasha was the one who signed my release. She didn't have legal authority. She had no license, no ownership stake, no position listed in our vendor filings. She was a socialite with a last name and a lot of confidence. That was it, which meant the clause was now active. Every contract I built, the color match kits, the vegan skin balms, even the new scalp detox line, would be flagged as tampered. Shipments paused, orders reversed. They thought they erased me, but I was still in the walls. Above me, another round of laughter erupted. Glass clinked. I heard her say, she didn't even cry. Can you believe that? I closed the notebook. Didn't cry? Number. But she would. I taped the box shut, pressed the edges flat, and slid the Echo notebook into my purse. No goodbyes, no hugs. Not even a fake, take care. I left the salon floor for the last time, heels clicking across the tile like a countdown. I walked straight out the salon doors and didn't stop until I hit the corner of Main and Pine. My legs carried me like they knew where I was going before I did. The bell over the door at Willow's Tea House gave a tired little jingle as I pushed in. Same place I used to sneak off to when things got loud upstairs. It was always quiet, tucked away, all soft booths and wood tables. The kind of place no one from the salon ever came. I slid into a back booth and dropped the Echo notebook on the table. The waitress, a girl named Erin with copper braids and kind eyes, brought me my usual, lavender black with a splash of oat milk, without asking. I nodded a thank you, opened the notebook, and pulled out the distributor contracts from the back sleeve. The paper had creases so sharp they could slice skin. My hands weren't shaking anymore. They were steady now, cold but steady. I flipped to the license control terms. There it was in black and white. If the lead developer, LD, is removed from operational capacity without written consent from the registered owner, RO, All active supply agreements will pause immediately pending contract review and compliance audit. Registered owner, Ray G. Wilcox, lead developer, me. The termination papers were signed by Tasha Wilcox, acting brand director, not owner, not listed on file, no legal authority, just acting whatever she made up that week. Clause triggered. I pulled out my old iPad and logged into the vendor dashboard. The product flag had already posted, auto-triggered by the mismatch in signatures. In red at the top of the screen, status hold echo provision review, pending owner's signature. That meant by tomorrow morning, every formula I developed, every blend, every shipment was locked. Warehouse fulfillment frozen. Orders bounced back. Return to sender. Color match kits, gone. The new honey almond scalp detox everyone loved, gone. The seasonal winter toner box that was scheduled to ship to 200 salons next week, dead in the water. None of it could be sold, touched, or used. Not until Ray signed off. And he didn't even know yet. The clause wasn't revenge. I didn't build it to burn people down. I built it because I saw what happened when people got comfortable taking credit for things they didn't understand. Carlene's face flashed in my head. That night in the diner, her voice shaking while she told me how they took her formula and slapped someone else's name on the label. I promised her that would never happen to me. It didn't. I sipped my tea watching the loading screen pulse across my dashboard as the hold orders multiplied. Page after page of frozen contracts. There it was. Distribution freeze, 137 accounts impacted fulfillment orders, canceled, 482. By the time Ray and Tasha figured it out, they'd be drowning in refund emails and supplier questions. The shelves would go bare, stylists would run out of product mid-service, clients would walk out with wet hair and fury. The silence they gave me, that smug champagne toast, it would be replaced by chaos. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just sat back in that booth, fingers curled around my tea, watching the thing I built defend itself like it was always meant to. My phone buzzed twice in my purse, probably someone from the salon pretending to care. I let it buzz out. I wasn't answering. This wasn't my mess to clean. Not anymore. I was still sitting at the tea shop when the first crack hit. My iPad buzzed with a push notification. Order ID number 98471, fulfillment canceled, echo provision, triggered order, ID number 98472, fulfillment canceled, echo provision triggered order, ID number 98473, fulfillment canceled, echo provision triggered. They just kept coming. I finished my tea, paid in cash, and went home. Pulled the curtains halfway shut, sat on the couch with my laptop open, watching the salon's downfall begin in real time. No music, no talking, just clicks, refreshes, and chaos. By 8:03 a.m. the next morning, Ray's salon Instagram turned into a war zone. First post: due to technical delays, some of our inventory may be arriving later than expected. That was the first domino. The comments came fast. I just got canceled on for my color appointment today. WTH? My wedding trial's in 2 days and y'all lost the product? So unprofessional. Never booking again. Then I got a text from one of the assistants. Not Dana. This one was newer. I barely remembered her name. Did you do something? Tasha's losing it. I didn't reply. Back at the salon, things were unraveling by the hour. They ran out of bleach by 10. Developer was gone by 10:30. Color kits? None. Tasha accused the vendors of ghosting them. Ray told her to calm down. That lasted 2 minutes. In the shampoo room, Trevor had 3 clients stacked up waiting for toners that hadn't come in. He was texting someone behind the chair, his hands shaking so hard he dropped the comb twice. Maya was panicking. She couldn't even do her 11 o'clock balayage because the foils hadn't shown. She started crying in the corner. Dana pulled up the vendor dashboard on her tablet, trying to figure out what was going on. She saw the warning at the top. Her eyes went wide. Echo provision? She whispered. Ray overheard and snapped, "What the hell is that?" Dana stammered, "It's something in the contracts, I think. I don't know. I just saw it." That's when the assistant, same girl who texted me, ran into the shampoo room holding a printed email like it was on fire. "It's the wholesaler," she said, voice breaking. "They're pulling everything." Ray grabbed the paper from her hand. Subject line: immediate withdrawal. Breach of echo provision. Your most recent termination of the lead developer is in violation of your license agreement. Per Clause 11C, all active shipments are suspended, and standing inventory is subject to clawback. Ray went pale, the kind of pale that makes a man look 20 years older in seconds. Who signed her termination? He said, slow and flat. Tasha walked in right then, heels clicking too loud. It's the distributor's fault, she said, waving her phone. I just talked to some guy named Elliot. He said the system is locked and he won't override it. Ray turned to her, calm at first. Did you sign the release paperwork? Tasha rolled her eyes. Of course I did. You were being useless and taking forever. Someone had to do it. He blinked. You're not listed as owner on any vendor paperwork, he said. She crossed her arms. So, I'm brand director. You're not even an employee, he growled. You don't exist in the system. That was the moment it all dropped for her. I wasn't there to see her face, but I imagined her lips parting, eyes twitching side to side like maybe she'd wake up from a dream if she blinked hard enough. You mean it's my fault? She snapped. Ray stepped closer, red-faced, voice rising. You just shut down our entire inventory chain. Do you get that? I was cleaning up your mess, she screamed. You let her run the place like it was her kingdom? Ray picked up the email and slammed it against the wall. She was the product. The whole salon went silent. Tasha stood, frozen. Then she turned and stormed out, hair whipping behind her like a flag of retreat. And me? I was curled up on my couch, sipping green tea with lemon, watching it all play out on my screen. Screenshots of the vendor emails were starting to circulate. One client posted a video on TikTok. I showed up for my appointment and they told me they don't even have shampoo. I waited 3 weeks for this. I refreshed the salon's Yelp page. It had dropped to 2.1 stars. And dropping. Ray thought I was replaceable. Tasha thought I was dead weight. But the second I was gone, the whole damn machine stopped working. I was back at Willow's the next afternoon. Same booth, same tea. My laptop was open, but I wasn't even pretending to work. I was scrolling, slow, steady, through the digital fallout. 1-star reviews were flooding in by the minute. Someone posted a reel showing a half-done balayage, saying she was left in the chair while the stylist cried in the back. Another post said the front desk was offering coupons for services they couldn't even schedule. The salon's account had gone silent. The door slammed open so hard the bell cracked against the glass. I looked up. Ray, face blotchy, chest heaving, papers in one hand, phone in the other. He spotted me and came straight over like a bloodhound, barking the second he hit my table. You're going to fix this, he snapped. I didn't move, just turned my page and said, hello to you too. His hand hit the table. The vendors won't talk to me. I called 6 of them this morning. They all said the same thing. Clause is active, contracts are frozen, you set this up. I protected my work, I said calm. You let someone else pull the trigger. You knew she'd sign it. I raised an eyebrow. I knew she wanted me gone. You're the one who let her play CEO with no leash. He slammed the folder down in front of me. My old distributor contracts, dog-eared and covered in highlighter. We're losing tens of thousands of dollars a day, he growled. You don't get to walk away from this clean. I already did, I said. And you don't get to scream at me because your wife blew up your business. Ray's jaw clenched so tight I thought he might crack a molar. You have to release the hold. I can't, I said. The system only accepts the owner's signature. Yours, not hers. That's why the clause exists. He froze. Why didn't you just tell me? He asked, voice shaking now. I leaned back. Because for 18 years, you never listened. And when she handed you my head on a platter, you didn't even flinch. His mouth opened, then closed again. He looked wrecked. Not sorry. Just stunned that I wasn't scared of him anymore. Then Dana's name popped up on my phone. A message preview slid across the screen. Dana, you need to see this. Another buzz, screenshot, then another, then 4 more in a row. I tilted the screen so Ray could see. Here comes your bonus round. Tasha's group chat had leaked. Screenshots from her branding circle text thread were blowing up. She'd added junior stylists, interns, even a few vendor reps. In one message, she wrote, finally canned her. She was too controlling. I want to rebrand this place my way. In another, Ray will thank me when the dust settles. The old cow had too much power. Ray's face drained like a tub with the plug yanked. The last screenshot was the killer. Tasha posing in front of the upstairs lounge mirror, holding a glass of champagne. Caption, out with the old New Year Wharf rebrand season. He just stared. The phone in his hand lit up with notifications, calls, messages, pings. I saw one from an influencer they partnered with last quarter. Pulling out, don't want the drama tied to my name. I shut my laptop and stood up. Looks like the dust just settled. Ray didn't move. He stood there like a statue, breathing hard, chest rising too fast. Tell me how to fix it, he said, voice low now. I shook my head. It's not yours to fix anymore. He tried again. I'll re-sign the contracts. I'll override the freeze. Then what? I said. You think the stylists are going to trust you after this? The clients? The vendors? Your wife called me a cow and got caught on blast. You're toast. He dropped the papers on the table. One floated to the floor like a white flag. As I walked past him, he said, she didn't mean to ruin it. I paused by the door. Did you? He didn't answer, just stared down at the folder like maybe, if he squinted hard enough, it would give him the last 18 years back. I left him there, middle of a tea shop surrounded by lemon scones and soft music, while the internet finished what I started. The next morning, my name showed up in the headlines, but not the way I ever expected. Popular salon collapses after power struggle between owner and wife. Whistleblower clause halts operations after stylists firing. Beauty industry drama. Echo provision sends shockwaves. They never used my full name, just the former lead developer, like I was some mystery figure behind the curtain. But I didn't need the credit. I had my tea and a front row seat. Clients started posting videos, some praising my work, others furious over their canceled appointments. One woman went viral talking about her daughter's quinceañera hair trial, getting canceled last minute. Another posted side-by-side pics, one from the time I did her bridal updo, and one from that week's failed color job under a new stylist. The caption read, "She was the heart. The rest was just decor." That one stung a little, not because it was wrong, but because I'd let myself forget it was true. By day 3, the investors stepped in. The board had always been quiet, just names on a contract and funding in the background. But now, they were loud. A formal statement hit the salon's website. Effective immediately, Raymond Wilcox has stepped down from operations. An internal audit is underway. And just like that, Ray was gone. Tasha, gone even faster. She stopped posting completely. Her Instagram went dark. Word around town said she booked a flight to Paris. Someone else claimed they saw her crying outside a boutique clinic upstate. I didn't care which story was true. She was smoke now. Stylists started messaging me quietly. Maya wrote, "I'm sorry I didn't speak up. I knew something felt off." Trevor sent a 3-paragraph apology about how scared he was to lose his job, how he stayed quiet when he shouldn't have. Dana's message was the simplest. "You were right. We didn't deserve you." I read them all. Replied to none. One night, about a week after the meltdown, I took a walk past the salon. I didn't plan it. My feet just turned left on Bay Street, and suddenly I was there, staring through the glass. The lights were off, chairs stacked 2 by 2 like an abandoned classroom. The front desk had dust on it already. One of the plants by the window was turning brown. No music, no buzzing dryers, no voices yelling over each other, just silence. It looked smaller now. The place I'd built with my own damn hands, brushing baseboards, hanging drywall, staying late to train rookies on the register. It had gone hollow. Part of me wanted to be mad again. But there was nothing left to burn. That legacy, it wasn't mine anymore. I stepped closer to the window and spotted a sticky note on the counter. "Do not enter. Under audit." Fitting. This place had chewed me up and spit me out, but not before I gave it everything I had. My time, my health, my daughter's graduation day. My marriage had frayed under those hours. My back ached every morning from all the leaning and lifting and standing. But still, I stayed. For years. And when they were done with me, they celebrated. Now look at it. I stood there for a few more seconds, long enough to feel the cold press through my sleeves. Then I turned and walked away without looking back. They tried to bury me under that building. All they did was dig their own grave. I kept walking until I hit the corner of Linden and Cross, little cafe tucked between a record shop and a dry cleaner. Quiet, no trendy signs, no influencers doing outfit changes in the doorway, just real coffee and clean tables. She was already there. Dark blazer, short nails, no nonsense. The kind of woman who didn't waste time explaining her value. I liked her already. Thanks for meeting, she said, sliding a folder across the table. I've seen what you built. You deserve your own name on the door. I flipped through it. Straight terms, fair split, zero fluff. She wasn't offering a job. She was offering ground floor, full partnership, no strings. Just what I'd earned. No bosses, no board. No fragile egos pretending to be visionaries. Just me, the products, and the work. I want you to own the line, she said. Every formula, every label. Start clean. Start loud. I pulled the pen from her folder and signed without hesitation. Not out of anger, not revenge. Just done waiting. Done waiting for permission. As she stood to leave, she shook my hand. Firm grip, direct eye contact. I think you're about to make a lot of people nervous, she said. I smiled for the first time in days. Good. She left, and I stayed behind for a minute, finishing my drink. My phone buzzed on the table. 3 new client requests, 2 media outlets, a podcast invite. I let it sit. I reached into my purse and pulled out the little silver service pin they'd given me on my 10-year anniversary. It had looked so important back then. Now it was dull, scratched, smaller than I remembered. I placed it next to my empty cup. No ceremony, no speech. Just a tiny piece of metal, right where it belonged, left behind. As I stepped out into the street, the air felt sharp and clean against my face. Light filtered through the trees above the sidewalk. People passed me without knowing a thing about who I was or what I just signed. And for once, I didn't need them to. I wasn't erased. I was finally free.